What's Pappy up to? Yep, doing another upgrade to the 2007 Ford truck. Put an Android screen in, tired of not having Bluetooth, want to use CarPlay to have some good maps, etc. Here we go. Alright, so here it is. We're going to do a quick teardown of this dashboard. It's pretty easy. Just take the EGT gauge out right there, and I am just going to get the CD player and old Radiohead out. EGT was an upgrade, and get that out of the way, and then you can see I popped that dashboard right off. It just pops by just sticking the tool right in the back there. Once you get that off, you can try reaching up behind it, but it's easier to just pop each of these little panels out. There's like two little release latches almost, or plastic pieces that you can just push up, and then you get your connectors right there where you can get to them. Same thing on this. This is the foot feed or footed pedal adjustment. Same deal as pop it out. I do have the battery disconnected so that I could have the key turned and have the stick shift down. Again, I popped that right out. I'm going to show you a little close up on that because then your connectors are right there. Just two fingers up underneath there, and then it pops right out. And then you just get the connectors easy. Same thing on this unit, which is the four-wheel drive panel. They just push up underneath. I'll give you another little close-up on it. Easy to get the connectors off, because sometimes connectors, they're so different, you never know how they are. It's hard to get up in there and do it. Two fingers right up in there, pop. She comes right out. Then you got all the connectors right there. Makes life a lot easier. There's one that I couldn't pop out, so I just reached back. It's just the information panel. One little connector there, and then all that leaves is the two connectors over here on the climate control, and those come right off. Plenty of extra length to pull that out. Otherwise, pop it right off. Four screws holding the original head in. Like I said, I mostly didn't have the Bluetooth, didn't have good mapping. I mean, I have my phone up close on a bracket, but this is much better. Get this Radiohead out, big old monster. Pop that out. All I had was one big plug and an antenna, and this thing really was plug and play. So I'm not going to get into a lot of that. You can go to some other videos if you want for that. But here it is. The only thing I did do is kind of, you'll see right where my finger is there, there's just two little pins that would stick into the dashboard structure. And then the rest of the dashboard hold it in. But I felt like this top section would be a little wobbly. So I built these black pieces, sheet metal head laying around. The silver back there is the original ones to give it more stability. Otherwise, that's really all I did, and it's pretty straightforward. Again, pop this all back on. Let's put it back together. It's not too hard. Put those panels in. This is where I like it because I connect those connectors for the climate control and the one for the info panel. Then I can pop it in and pull all those wiring harnesses back through. Messing with the EGT wiring harness there, but that's a mod that you wouldn't have to deal with unless you got it on your truck. Again, a little push, a little pop, and she gets right in place. The only thing is, I did notice, and I'll show you a little more on this later, the again, the EGT wire is kind of a bit of a nuisance for me. But kind of was right there where my thumbs are. It was just bulging out a little, but it would click and get in place. I just didn't like the look, and I'll talk a little more about that later. You can't tell. I just one of those little details that bothered me. Otherwise, she looks really nice. It fit really nice in there. And again, I had those harnesses right out in the open, so it's easy to hook up these panels and then just pop them back in place, which, again, I think that's one nice little trick. And by the way, if you need to take your instrument cluster out, this is just the same way you do the instrument cluster, which is cool. I'm just going to be glad to have some Bluetooth, hands-free. I did have to, microphone was pretty marginal. I ended up putting it right above my head. Initially, I had it kind of over here by there and putting it in by the EGT gauge, but I didn't get good sound. So I ended up moving it up on top of the ceilings right next to my head. I've seen people put it up on the doorpost too. There's the EGT gauge in place. Cool. We are all set to give it a try. Like I said, had battery disconnected during this, so now we're going to put the battery back together and let's see if this thing turns on. Boom, it comes on. So I was really glad to see that. And here's some video of in the dark a little better. You can see my finger there to the left, and in that dark area right off the screen, there it is, an off-on button And there is a home button, and there's a volume control button. Although, that's probably one of the things I didn't like about it. It didn't have good backlighting on that. But there's home buttons and return buttons on the lit screen. There it is with the CarPlay. And you can choose different ways to have the map as partial and what you're playing on your, in this case I use Spotify. And then also for phone calls, I could get all my contacts in there, which was cool. There's what it looks like again. Like I said, there's a return button up there, but and it will display actually the speedometer. It does update my time and everything. This is some of the other selections that are possible for music and this and that. And then you can go to the settings here, which is cool, but there's also settings on that home screen too, so it's pretty easy. And it's something you've got to play around with. Here was probably one of the few things I haven't gotten to work properly, and that's the bright dim of the screen. I'm doing it all manually currently. It's not doing automatic when my lights come on. Not sure why yet. I think with some wiring playing around, I might be able to fix that. But then there's the factory settings. That's the factory settings of how the buttons work, and you can adjust those buttons that I was talking about that were off screen. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a pretty tough code to remember, but pretty standard. Okay, the video gets a little shaky here. You get the equalizer on the radio, which was cool, and you get this speaker fade. And if you just touch the little red spot in the middle, you can move it to wherever you want. And that's pretty much it. I like it. Oh yeah, it also picked up all the apps on my phone. Well, not all of them. It picks up a bunch of them. I'm not sure why. Maybe the most recent ones I've used them. I'm not clear on that yet. But overall, I think it was a good choice. It's cheaper for sure, rather than spending $400 or $500 for some of these units. This is on eBay, not eBay, sorry, on Amazon for like $138. Yeah, again, sorry about the shaky video. The truck's running right now. So here's those brackets. I ended up adjusting them. I cut off the bottom section. So I'm going to try showing this to you. It's a little bit weird. This is the dashboard face down. You're looking at the back of the dashboard with the Android head sitting in there. And down here, right there, you can kind of see there's like a little silver. There's the bracket actually in place, but the lower tabs were catching the air vent screws, so I ended up kind of bending them back. See if we can get a better shot of it over here. And the bottom actually gets held in anyways with that top, with the dashboard, but right in there is where that tab is. I just let that tab bend back a little because it sits right on those screw heads, both sides, where the vents were. I just get it. It just sat a little more flush. I could have left it alone. It's just one of those little weird things that bothered me that I thought I'd show you how I modified the brackets. But otherwise, pretty cool unit. I would do it again. Like I said, if I can, I'll put the link to Amazon where I bought it, $138 rather than spending the $400. Only other thing I haven't done is hooked up. There's a backup cam on it, but get that set up soon. And there it is with those brackets in place now, and you can kind of see a little better. Those tabs right there, they'll be able to push actually in, I should say, or out. I guess come out a little when to clear those pieces on the sides where the vents are. But otherwise, it's nice and stable. And that's here's a little bit of before. Yeah, got that old CD out, if anybody knows what those are. Anyways, nice and flush, come out good. It's worth it.